Martin Jesus in that house right there signed an executive order saying that it was illegal to burn the American flag. No president can make a law, period. No Congress can make a law infringing on First Amendment rights. I'm burning his flag as a protest to that illegal fascist president that sits in that house. Do it for every single one of you American citizens. We burn this flag in protest to that president who feels that it's his right to do whatever he wants, make whatever law he wants, regardless if it's legal or illegal. Go away. Go away. Go the fuck away from me. Fuck. What the fuck? Once again, my name is Dave Query. I am a 20-year combat veteran having served in the United States Army. It is our First Amendment right to burn this flag, regardless of what the president says. That's what I thought. Nobody will enforce those illegal laws that president tried to make.
I got to use right now.
Violation of the First Amendment right.
Yep, I'm being detained because I expressed my First Amendment.
So let's talk about this. Really quick synopsis is that basically President Trump signed an executive order yesterday or the day before yesterday stating that it is basically illegal to burn the flag of the United States. And many people are up in arms, especially even Trump voters may raise an eyebrow to this or be upset about this. And in this video, we're going to break it down, all right? We are going to look at the exact executive order that was signed, right? We're going to break it down. We're going to look at it piece by piece. And I'll let you know how I feel, all right? So let's take a look at it. Prosecuting burning of the American flag. Executive orders, August 25th, 2025. By the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered. Section 1, purpose. Purpose of this executive order. Our great American flag is the most sacred and cherished symbol of the United States of America and of American freedom, identity, and strength. Over nearly 2.5 centuries, many thousands of American patriots have fought, bled, and died to keep the stars and stripes waving proudly. The American flag is a special symbol in our national life that should unite and represent all Americans of every background and walk of life. Desecrating it is uniquely offensive and provocative. It is a statement of contempt, hostility, and violence against our nation, the clearest possible expression of opposition to the political union that preserves our rights, liberty, and security. Burning this representation of America may incite violence and riot. American flag burning is also used by groups of foreign nationals as a calculated act to intimidate and threaten violence against Americans because of their nationality and place of birth. Notwithstanding the Supreme Court's ruling on First Amendment protections, the court has never held that American flag desecration conducted in a manner that is likely to incite imminent lawless action or that is an action amounting to fighting words is constitutionally protected. See Texas v. Johnson, 491 U.S. 397, 408 through 10. 1989. During a political demonstration in Dallas, Texas, Gregory Joey Johnson gained possession of an American flag. So basically, he burned the flag. He poured kerosene on the flag and burned it as his fellow members chanted slogans that attacked the presidential candidate and the U.S. in general. Many onlookers were offended, although nobody was physically injured. Johnson was convicted of desecrating a venerated object under state law and sentenced to 1 year in prison as well as a fine. So basically, the justices in the Supreme Court says that it sets precedent, echoing precedents such as O'Brien v. U.S. Cohen v. California. Hold on. Echoing precedents such as O'Brien v. U.S., Cohen v. California, and Tinker v. Des Moines, the majority reaffirmed that the First Amendment protects expressive conduct. To determine the line between mere action and communication, Brennan suggested that courts should consider whether the defendant intended to convey a specific message through the conduct. So that's the key area right there. Whether the defendant intended to convey a specific message through the conduct, and whether it was likely that the audience would recognize this message for what it was. In this situation, he felt that both elements were satisfied. The demonstration coincided with the Republican National Convention, and the accompanying political chants clarified the message. The defendant's conduct thus could be punished only if the state could show that it had a compelling content-neutral reason for suppressing it. Brennan found that there was no breach of the peace or imminent threat of such a breach that resulted from the flag burning, and he rejected the bad tendency test from early 20th century jurisprudence. The state could not propose any other compelling interest, and in fact, it is possible that no other interest could be proposed. So basically, he was found not guilty of flag burning, specifically because the court should consider whether the defendant intended to convey a specific message through the conduct, and whether it was likely that the audience would recognize this message for what it was. All right, so back to this. My administration will act to restore respect and sanctity to the American flag and prosecute those who incite violence or otherwise violate our laws while desecrating the symbol of our country to the fullest extent permissible under any available authority. Section 2. Measures to combat desecration of the American flag. A. The Attorney General shall prioritize the enforcement to the fullest extent possible of our nation's criminal and civil laws against acts of American flag desecration that violate applicable content-neutral laws, while causing harm unrelated to expression consistent with the First Amendment. This may include, but not limited to, violent crimes, hate crimes, illegal discrimination against American citizens, or other violations of Americans' civil rights, and crimes against property and the peace, as well as conspiracies and attempts to violate and aiding and abetting others to violate such laws. B. In cases where the Department of Justice or another executive department or agency determines that an instance of American flag desecration may violate an applicable state or local law, such as open burning restrictions, disorderly conduct laws, or destruction of property laws, the agency shall refer the matter to the appropriate state or local authority for potential action. To the maximum extent permitted by the Constitution, the Attorney General shall vigorously prosecute those who violate our laws in ways that involve desecrating the American flag, and may pursue litigation to clarify the scope of the First Amendment exceptions in this area. That's key. All right. The Secretary, that's key because it states that may pursue litigation to clarify the scope of the First Amendment exceptions in this area, which goes back to that case that we discussed, Texas v. Johnson. Okay. D. The Secretary of State, the Attorney General, and the Secretary of Homeland Security, acting within their respective authorities, shall deny, prohibit, terminate, or revoke visas, residence permits, naturalization proceedings, and other immigration benefits, or seek removal from the United States pursuant to federal law, including 8 U.S.C. 1182A, and then some other laws. Whenever there has been an appropriate determination that foreign nationals have engaged in American flag desecration activity under circumstances that permit the exercise of such remedies pursuant to federal law. Section 3. Severability. If any provision of this order or the application of any provision to any person or circumstance is held to be invalid, the remainder of this order and the application of its provisions to any other persons or circumstances shall not be affected thereby. That basically means if the Supreme Court finds one section it to be invalid or unconstitutional, it states that the remainder of this order and the application of its provisions shall not be affected. General provisions: nothing in this order shall be construed to impair or otherwise affect 1. The authority granted by law to an executive department or agency and the head thereof. 2. The functions of the director of the Office of Management and Budget relating to budgetary, administrative, or legislative proposals. This order shall be implemented consistent with applicable law and subject to the availability of appropriations. C. This order is not intended to and does not create any right or benefit, substantive or procedural, enforceable at law or in equity by any party against the United States, its departments, agencies, or entities, its officers, employees, or agents, or any other person. D. The cost for publication of this order shall be borne by the Department of Justice. Donald J. Trump. All right, so what I like, let's talk about what I dislike about this